Do you guys know that LLM can now be used for autonomous cars and autonomous robots as well? Let's find out. Recently, there's a paper released in MIT which kind of talks about how to use LLMs for self-driving cars and autonomous robots. Now, before we get into that, LLMs have always been great at text generations and code generation, but there's a significant gap in terms of using LLMs for symbolic planning activities. Now, that's where this paper kind of addresses this challenge. What this paper talks about is a framework called as Planning Domain Definition Language Instruct, which kind of teaches on how to teach LLM to basically build for symbolic planning activities. Now, what this framework kind of discusses is a two-phase fine-tuning model, which is the first phase essentially is an initial instruction tuning, wherein you take the pre-trained LLM and then essentially adds data set which contains problems and actions which needs to be taken for those problems, so that you then get a fine-tuned LLMs, which is like the general uh, initial instruction tuning which we do. And once that's done, what then the paper talks about is building a second phase, which is called as the chain of thought instruction tuning. What do we really do in this? So what it discusses about is that once in the second phase, the model is prompted with a chain of thought action, which is to kind of detail every plan and whatever actions which needs to be taken, and then also discusses about the state transition between each and every actions. Now, for each and every action, what the instruction tuning would actually do is validates if all the preconditions are satisfied, make sure that the state transition is there, make sure that the invariants are already taken care of, and this is then validated against a validator framework, which will validate and then provide feedback, which is then used to basically refine the model. Now, this way, the paper is then this particular framework is then used to train on a Llama 3 model, and essentially they were able to achieve 94% efficiency for symbolic planning activities. Now, why this paper is so significant is that this framework can now be used to train any LLMs to kind of focus on any safety critical applications like self-driving cars or like healthcare robotics or autonomous robotics as well.